I'm Jeff, and this is my wife, Nicole, and this is our dog, Baxter. He was always a really healthy dog, and he was quite the athlete. We taught him how to catch frisbees, and so that was one of his favorite things to do, and he's very fast and a great leaper and very smart.
We had no signs of anything
Healthy
wrong.
coat.
He had been a very, very healthy dog.
We've got a huge flight of stairs, and so
20
he'd come up
stairs.
the stairs in kind of an odd way, like he'd be dragging his feet a little bit. But it's just kind of the things you think like, oh, that's weird. Well, maybe he's just a little bit sore because we were playing today, or, you know, we went for a long walk or something like that. So we just kind of brush it off a little bit.
We were watching the neighbor's golden retriever, and I let them outside to play. So when they came in, he was laying down, and I asked him to stand up, and I noticed that he was having a difficult time getting up, and it was concerning. I wanted to see what was happening. I wanted to get more information. I wanted to see if he could do things that he typically does. And so I asked him to jump up on the bed, and he did. And he screamed. And then he laid on the bed, and he just cried and cried and cried.
So when I first saw Baxter, he was still able to walk, no major gait deficits. On his exam, the main things that I noted were some loss of muscle mass in his back end, particularly for a young active dog, and also he did have significant pain in his lower back. And so then anesthetized him and performed an MRI, which is what actually led to the diagnosis of a nerve sheath tumor. And what it is it's the nerve, if you think of it like electrical wiring. You've got the actual wire part would be what's called the axon, which transmits information, and then there's a myelin sheath around, which is like the insulation. And in a nerve sheath tumor, it's that insulating part that actually starts to grow out of control and strangulates down on the nerve.
It was shock to both of us.
Yeah, it was devastating. The possibility of actually losing him, and then the kind of prognosis that we got that it would be that he would be dying within months, and that it was be an excruciatingly painful death for him was very, very difficult. It was heart-wrenching.
With his initial visit, we diagnosed the fact that he had a nerve sheath tumor, and then based on the ultrasound and the endoscopy, it said he has mild inflammatory bowel disease. So the initial treatment that we kind of sent him on was using a diet, so he was on Hill's ID, and that helped control the diarrhea. And then also we put him on a combination of pain medications and anti-inflammatories, which initially were keeping his pain fairly well controlled, and he was able to be a bit more active. The ID stands for intestinal diet, and it's made so it's very easily digestible. And so in dogs that have vomiting and have diarrhea, it's a very nice option for something that can calm down their intestinal tract.
It really helped. It really helped him. It was a very gentle food, and it made giving his medications to him. I mean, we were giving him so many medications, 6 times a day medications. The food that we were giving him was perfect. It made it so much easier.
Within a couple of months of his diagnosis, really, the ongoing persistent problem was his back pain related to the tumor that we'd seen on the MRI. And so based on the MRI, the tumor itself wasn't accessible through traditional surgery, in that we would have had to go in, amputate his leg, and still be thinking that we probably didn't get the whole tumor out. In talking to the owners, we decided that radiation treatment would be the ideal option in terms of something that would be less invasive, but also probably give him a better quality of life quite quickly.
And I went Google crazy. And finally, I stumbled on this article by a doctor out of New York about CyberKnife treatment. My understanding is that it's so precise that they can do the typical 18 or 19 doses, whatever is typical for radiation, in 1 to 3 treatments. Because it's so precise, they're not as worried about the healthy tissue surrounding the tumor. So you can do the same high intensity in much shorter duration.
It really was remarkable. I mean, almost instantly we could tell the difference.
It was fast.
Like, was it like
That
less
first
than a week
week.
he was coming up the stairs by
That
himself?
first
and
week.
like,
Within a month of having the treatment, we were able to taper him off of his medications, and since his treatment, he's actually now been completely off all of his medications. He's back to playing, going on hikes. His quality of life right now is really where it had been before he started to show any of these signs.
A friend of ours had recommended that we get health insurance. That was a huge part of his story and his outcome.
Healthy Paws really came through for us.
Healthy Paws was amazing. They were as big as anything else in how they supported us.
Everybody kind of came through and everything fell into place perfectly for Baxter.
I was really blown away at the sophistication of care for animals. And going to California to get the CyberKnife treatment that he got was yet another experience of that.
The people that were in Baxter's life as part of that treatment team to help him with his cancer, they were incredibly compassionate, you know, very, very good with Baxter, but also really great with us too.
Yeah,
So
with us.
we're just very impressed. We'll always be grateful for that. They have our undying gratitude for what they were able to do for him.